Hello everyone, welcome back for more Let's Play Shadowgate. So we are alone in a dark and gloomy cavern, and we have a couple of stone gargoyles standing there staring at us. They will spring to life. However, we have exactly what we need to deal with them, as you might expect by this point in the game. We're going to pull off Tien Shin Han's move. Illumina. And the senses from the Novaverse. And the gargoyles are kind of there. The gargoyles aren't doing anything now. But they're blind, so they can't see us run back through here. And yeah, we have a room that has nothing in it but a well. Oh well. So, what do we do here? Well, I gotta say it again. Let's take a look here. The wooden planks are a cover. Well, stone and mortar. Small handle attached to an assortment of gears. Okay. So let's use the handle here. There we go. Click. And now the cover of the well is open. What it doesn't say is that this well is incredibly goddamn deep. And what we have to do is jump down there. But if we jump down there as is, I'm pretty sure you can guess what would happen. Death. Because that's what happens in just about any bit of these things here. So, what we can do is... There it was, I should say. This big coin here, which we didn't actually look at. I should have looked at it. It's a large oak coin with a well engraved on it. That's your hint, right there. Also the gold coin. And has a mark that looks like a human skull. That skull doesn't mean what you think it might mean. But anyway, we take the big coin. We throw the big coin into the well to make it basically jettison wind out of it. Reminiscent of a dust devil. And basically what that does is give us slow fall in this well. So we can come all the way down here. And now we look at a river that has a gong. I don't think there are too many deaths in this area. I think we might be able to get into the water and drown, because this is not a normal river, as you might have guessed. But instead, we're going to grab the mallet, we're going to use the mallet, we're going to hit the gong, and it's going to summon, basically, the ferryman of the river Styx here. And it wants a fare. So we're gonna grab one of these gold coins with the mark of the skull on it. We're gonna give it to him. And we're gonna move onto the raft. Yes, you have to move onto the raft. Using the raft does nothing, and you annoy him if you stick around too long trying to figure out what to do. So anyway. So now, this is the next to last room in the game. And the game has told you what to do. I hope you wrote things down, or at least remembered them. And we feel like we are on sacred ground here. So, we have 3 things there that we can hang. The talisman we got in front of the wyvern can only hang in one. So maybe you remember that there was a clue that said the sword was the key, effectively. So we are going to use a talisman. We're going to put it right here with the sword. And the artifact is called the Bladed Sun. And it is now stuck in place underneath the sword. Then the last to invoke was the Platinum Horn. So, yeah, we showed up here basically on the Warlock Lord's doorstep and did the equivalent of ringing the doorbell here. With the Platinum Horn, we just sounded our arrival. Stealthy is not exactly something we are. And now, we need to assemble the staff before we can beat the guy. We can go through this door and assemble the staff on the other side of this door. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we have to. But we've got a blade, and we've got an orb, and both of those have to go on the staff to turn it into the Staff of Ages. So let's go ahead and see if we can equip it, see if we can assemble the thing here. We use the blade on the staff. Lightning begins to flash in the room. The golden spike slides smoothly into the staff, even though when we saw it next to the werewolf, it was definitely greener. Then it wasn't much gold. And then the orb here goes into the staff. And the staff is now effectively the Staff of Ages. The three are now and forever one. And I'm doing all that over here because there are a couple of deaths. There is at least one death I can still show off. And we see the Warlock Lord standing there. And somehow we've got lightning underground. And he has managed to summon the goddamn behemoth. Yep, the beast is indeed incredible. And you wonder how you can defeat such a creature as this. Well, obviously, there are stupid things you can do here, which is talking to it. Or trying to hit it with a normal weapon. Those are pretty bad ideas. But you might think, okay, I've got this fancy staff. What if I zap the wizard with it? He's faster than you are. Unfortunately, his staff is faster than the dragon's breath that we had to deal with earlier, so he couldn't just bring the shield up. So now we still have the completed staff, which is why I did it in here instead of in there. And like I said, we could have done the blade. We could have done all that stuff in there. It'll let you do that. It's not the most advisable thing to do, I guess, but it is a thing we can do. So you might wonder, well, what the hell am I supposed to do then? That's a behemoth. Hitting the behemoth doesn't seem like it should do anything, right? Well, if instead of aiming at the goddamn arch warlock there, Warlock Lord, you aim the staff at the behemoth, staff pulsates with power and a beam of light explodes from it, striking the behemoth. It looks exactly the same as a stick of flame that we just got lit up with. And the behemoth, instead of coming after us, grabs the Warlock Lord and decides to go back to bed. The Warlock Lord is now its plushie. It did not like the Staff of Ages. And yeah, that's the game. I wouldn't exactly want to lean on the Staff of Ages that just shot a behemoth down. Doesn't seem like it's much of a walking stick, really. And Word of the Quest has already reached the farthest parts of the land, so we've done what we need to do. We finally get to see kinda sorta what we look like here. Red-headed, huh? Fair enough. We enter the royal city of Stormhaven. Moments later, we are ushered into the royal palace, greeted by the king. Who knows what we've done? The world will be dark forever without you. And, yeah, that's the game. You can see that the game is not frozen because it's flickering, but it is taking a second for the title, for the words to scroll here. So, in exchange for beating the behemoth, we got our own little fiefdom, and we got the princess. This quest is over, others await. They're trying to plant a sequel hook here. They never got around to a sequel to this game. They did get around to other games, but not a sequel to this one. The first story's end. And yeah, now it is done. Now it's done. The first story's end. There are no credits. Kimco was not keen on sharing their developer's name with the rest of the industry. So, I said I have a Shadowgate related story. This game is one I have almost memorized. Sometimes I fumble like I did when I was trying to remember, okay, yeah, which door is it to the rickety bridge? That type of thing. And it yawned for some reason. Too much talking, I guess. So, what I'm going to say here is that when I played this game in the 1980s, I eventually got to the point where I beat it. Yeah, it took a while. We beat it. My mom and I both worked together on this game, me much more so than she did. And I, for my own amusement, whatever, I created my own guide to this game. It was just a guide I made completely for myself. Basically, I took a big sheet of graph paper and I put big squares for the rooms, and I numbered the rooms and drew lines connecting the rooms that actually attach to each other, etc., 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 in roughly the position you would see them on the move screen. And then underneath that, I would write room 1, here are the things you do, like room 1, which would be the outside of the castle. I go, open skull, open door, take key from skull. You know, I would do all that, and I had all that listed. And it was for every room in the game. Every room had that, and it was about I think I finished up 3 pages of graph paper, because I made the squares fairly big for the rooms. Because I was going to go back in later and actually copy where the little move buttons were in the lower left, and put them on there and say, this moves to room 2, this moves to room 3, etc., etc. I was going to do that. However, I say I was going to and not I did because my aunt borrowed Shadowgate from us after I completed most of this guide. I just hadn't gotten like the super specific stuff. But it had all the rooms listed and had all the steps listed. My aunt borrowed Shadowgate and was having a huge amount of trouble with it. And my mom knew I created this guide. So my mom gave my aunt this guide. Didn't ask me, but I was at least friendly with my aunt, family and all that. And I really liked my cousins at the time, so it was like, my mom didn't see the harm in just giving her the guide. I'm not gonna fault her for that. However, apparently my aunt could not figure out my way of writing everything down. She could not figure out how my guide worked. And, instead of just handing it back to us, going, yeah, I couldn't understand this, my aunt threw the guide away! And I don't know if you've ever made a guide for a game like this. That guide took a few hours to put together. A few hours of me playing this game one bit at a time and writing down on my notes and everything that needs to go on, hours and hours of work, thrown away by my aunt because she couldn't figure out how it worked. It worked perfectly fine for me. And of course, this was in days before the internet existed, so I didn't even have a computer at home yet. At least not one that could actually store pictures. I had a Color Computer 3, which it did not do image files, but it would have done a text file. That's the only thing. I would have had to, and I was going to at some point, I was going to format something like you would have seen on GameFAQs with a lot of ASCII art. But I didn't get the chance before my aunt just threw it away. I was mad. I was a very not happy person at that point. I don't think I spoke to my aunt for a good 8 months after that. I think I just completely iced out my freaking aunt after that for a while. Trauma from childhood. Because, well, you're a child and the adults don't give a damn what you think. Fun times. But anyway, the pain of the PTSD there aside, I still remember almost every step in this damn game for doing that. Now, next up, we have 2 more games in this line, both on the Nintendo. One is Deja Vu, the other is Uninvited. I have played and beaten both of these, but I never got around to getting as in-depth with them as I did with this one. So, I'm going to Let's Play them, because I can Let's Play them, and I might as well, since I'm already in this mode. But, it will not be as smooth as this one is, for all the way I ran through all the deaths and all that. I don't think I can do that in both Uninvited and Deja Vu. I don't think I can find all the deaths that easily, because I just don't remember the games as well. But I will get into those games, and we will do our Detective Noir and our Modern Day Horror. We will do those. I do remember some deaths, don't worry. There are some deaths that are indelibly printed on my memory from those games. But just showing off as many deaths as possible is not going to happen in those. Those are going to be more straightforward walkthroughs. That's just going to be a more straightforward run-through. That's it. But yeah, okay. And enough talking, even though this has been the end of the game, and you could have shut it off at any point in time. I mostly talked for two reasons. One, to get that story out, and two, to show you, yeah, there is nothing else in this game. It doesn't show you any credits, anything like that. But, yeah. We will return with more Kimco madness here. And yeah, this is close to the beginning of 2025, isn't it? Yep, when this goes up, this should be January 4th. Now 13 Sentinels, we had a Happy New Year thing, so yeah, hope your New Year's at least started well, and if it hasn't, I hope it improves. I will be back next time with, it could be Uninvited or it could be Deja Vu, but it will be one of those two. But until then, take care, everyone.